Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I am looking out at Las Vegas from my hotel room. I just got off the phone with Nick Durafado from Link2. Link2 is here as well. They are out, I think they've been doing some company stuff here, and then they're doing some meetups today. But he told me to mention to everybody that they have what could be the last batch of Cerberus, the AI company with those huge chips, on the platform today, and they don't know if they're going to be able to get any more of it before Cerberus goes public, after it's gone, the stuff that is up there right now. So Link2 is my sponsor, by the way, and go to linqto.com and go check that out if you haven't. Now, Crypto Insight UK, alt season incoming, weekly bearish divergence. In my theory, diminishing Bitcoin dominance over time is true, and we were mimicking 2017. Oh, please, dear Lord, I dare you to mimic 2017 crypto market. Anybody remember what happened to XRP then? Then what comes next is fireworks for alts. Also, which alt performed best in 2017? ... XRP. Is history going to repeat itself, folks? Then Bitwise put this out. I thought this was interesting. Stable coins will be bigger than Bitcoin ETFs. An excerpt from Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan's weekly memo to investment professionals. The mainstreaming of stable coins. The big news in what looks like Congress may actually pass comprehensive stablecoin legislation this year. This new bipartisan interest is driven by three factors. First, stablecoins can be good for the dollar, allow anyone around the world to store their wealth in an asset designed to track the greenback. And then second, stable coins are big buyers of U.S. treasuries. In fact, stable coins are already the 16th largest sovereign holder of treasuries in the world. Folks, this is why I believe the government was involved in the creation of Tether and maybe others, because I believe that part of the mission was to prop up the treasury market and make it and use this stuff to make it look healthier than it is, or like a hedge in case countries like China or Russia, with all the geopolitical things going on, started to dump treasuries. You would have this set up. They go on. Third, money. Tether, the largest stablecoin issuer, earned $6.2 billion in profits last year, despite having just 125 employees. This would be the first piece of the comprehensive crypto legislation ever passed by Congress. See, don't underestimate that, folks. You get legislation passed by Congress, and it will stamp the it will legitimize crypto forever. And that's what will send this market will go ape. It'll be on like Donkey Kong. How to approach this as an investor? You can't expect appreciation from holding stable coins directly. After all, they are designed to hold a stable value, but you can invest in the picks and shovels. In this case, that means layer 1 blockchains like Ethereum and Solana, which host both stable coins and the DeFi apps that interact with stable coins. It's going to be exciting, folks. This is yesterday while I was traveling, Jerome Powell, I think, was doing all of his talk about what he was going to do with interest rates and all. And Finance a Lot says this was the most important 60 seconds yesterday.
Don't know exactly when that will be.
And with hindsight, are there any signs that you can look back on now, looking at the reports from January or February or March, that suggested something more worrying than just expected bumpiness?
Not really. So I thought it was appropriate to reserve judgment until we had the full quarter's data, until we saw the March data. And so take a step back. What do we now see in the first quarter? We see strong economic activity. We see a strong labor market, and we see inflation. We see 3 inflation readings So I think you're at a point there where you should take some signal. We don't like to react to 1 or 2 months data, but this is a full quarter, and I think it's appropriate to take signal now, and we are taking signal. And the signal that we're taking is that it's likely to take longer for us to gain confidence that we are on a sustainable path down to 2% inflation. That's the signal that we're taking.
We live in a clown world, folks. Inflation is berserk. And ask anybody who's out there paying for groceries. My wife complains about it every time she gets home from the grocery store. Folks, you can't help, Roger Ver, who was one of the original investors in Ripple, by the way, he was arrested apparently in Spain for avoiding, I think it was like 50 million in taxes. I know he became a Japanese citizen, but I don't know the whole story behind that. And I met this guy when I was in Singapore, and he was a very nice guy. He was like a jiu-jitsu expert. Very, very nice guy, but and I don't know anything about these allegations, if that's true or not or whatever. Who knows? But what is interesting to me is I can't help but wonder if there was symbolism in the DOJ going after the guy called Bitcoin Jesus. In other words, who better to symbolize trying to take down crypto than to take down the Bitcoin Jesus? So we'll see what happens. Now, this one right here is a mystery. I can't figure it out. This Tara Bisty had apparently tweeted out, actually started an X account in April. It doesn't have many tweets at all, but randomly, Brad Garlinghouse replies to her. She says, "Is this thing on?" He says, "Reading you loud and clear. Welcome to the madness we call X." Wait, do we call it X? Now, there's all kinds of stuff this could mean. It might just mean, it could be as simple as this. Maybe, because it could be that this is some woman that Brad Garlinghouse is dating or something, and he had a few drinks and he responded to a tweet with a funny answer or something. Or, I mean, he's not a dumb guy. It's like, or he's sending a message out. But isn't it fun? Just these are the kind of things that make it all fun. So who knows? It might just be some woman that he's dating or something that he replied to, and the poor guy can't help but have millions of people, analyze every move he makes. Maybe it's probably just that. But anyway, it was still interesting. Now, yesterday, the financial services for the GOP, what's it called? The Financial Services Committee, classifying ETH as a security contradicts previous statements of the SEC and Chair Gensler. Republicans will continue to hold the SEC accountable. Oh, will you? For its regulatory overreach that is stifling innovation, leaving consumers unprotected, and risking our national security. Well, my question was this. Where were you guys when the SEC was suing Ripple and harming over 75,000 XRP holders? Are you all compromised by the Ethereum crew like you were by SBF? That's my question. Because Congress never sent out any of these furious tweets when it was XRP under attack. But now that Ethereum's under attack, I'm going to skip that one because I want you to see something. But this is interesting. This is from Crypto Law, John Deaton's firm. The absence of regulatory clarity continues to impede investment in the development of U.S. blockchain applications. In the meantime, Bitcoin and XRP are the only digital assets that have achieved any regulatory clarity. This is a guy from Forbes. Do you remember what Craig DeWitt said? He was on video, and he said just this, that we could have a situation where only Bitcoin and XRP have clarity in the United States. Pretty wild. Now, do you remember the last last 3 or 4 years, Joseph Lubin has literally been an SEC cheerleader, called them his friends, and he's literally cheered them on that they were going to be going after people in crypto because he thought that he was beyond being gone after.
We certainly need bodies like the SEC to scare many projects straight, to create a context of concern so that many different projects think twice and do their legal homework before releasing a token.
And so, oh, how the tables turned, Joe. And so today, Joe and his attorney, Matt Corva.
And the level of detail that they're going.
And his attorney, Matt Corva, are now doing a lap of trying to get sympathy in their fight. Now we're all fighting for each other. It's us against the SEC. And these a-holes, for the last 3 or 4 years, thought that they had gotten the monopoly that they sought for them and Bitcoin, and thought the door had been slammed on all of the rest of crypto, and now they're under attack. And so all of a sudden, they want everybody fighting for them. Listen to a couple of clips of this.
Bush theory.
Zooming out and kind of like identifying the pattern that I'm seeing here. First part of the details of this case, we've mentioned in passing, but just to make it explicit, is that the SEC sent Consensus a Wells notice saying, hey, we intend to sue. And Consensus is just replying to that with like, well, we're going to sue you guys first because we think we have a stronger case. That's kind of like how I'm reading this. And Matt, do you want to clarify something?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's actually accurate. So this is an action we've thought about taking for a long time. And so we've been thinking about this for a while. They just so happened to send the Wells notice in the process. The Wells notice was informative of the fact that we don't think we're dealing with a reasonable party who has allegiance to the law. You guys all saw the Coinbase wallet decision regarding their swapping feature. So to get a Wells notice alleging...
Oh, by the way, I haven't listened to this whole thing, but I read that these guys go out of their way to never mention the Ripple case. They don't want any part of this army.
MetaMask swaps, which was the leader in the space and was doing that thing first. So the Coinbase wallet facts are very similar, is violating the same laws a judge just said did not apply to the wallet. That was perhaps another triggering factor in our decision to file. But we've thought their action was imminent for a while against us prior to the Wells notice. So this is something we've been preparing for and has been well thought out.
One thing we didn't want to do is harm the prospects of the approval of the EtherSpot ETF. And so while we could have started this action a while ago, we wanted to sit back and read the tea leaves and make sure that that if the SEC was going to open that floodgate, because it would probably change everything, that we did not get in the way of that.
Okay, now this is interesting right here. Look at this one. Gary Gensler's confidence conspiracy.
Bankless. Joe, one of the big mysteries I've always had about the Gary Gensler and the SEC is where does he get his confidence from to go and go toe-to-toe with some of the biggest...
I say that all the time. Why does he feel like he has cover to do this? Who's giving him the authority or the mandate?
And like between me and Ryan, I'm the one who's very willing to put on the tinfoil hat and go out there. And so I'll do that here. Is like the big banks, the incumbents. Rather than just like looking at the narrow details, you can kind of zoom out and see just incentive structures in the old world that doesn't want things to change. This is a pattern throughout human history: is that the people that are in power don't like change because that's disruptive to their status quo. There could be some sort of pipeline between the incentives of those power structures into the current political party that put Gary Gensler in power in the first place. And that is like the perceived blank check that Gary Gensler has to do some of the things, the harassment that he's done of this new power disrupting industry. And so is that kind of where you're saying where he has this blank check from incumbent power structures?
Yeah, with conspiracy caps on, one has to wonder. First of all, he's a very smart individual. His brother Robert, we understand, is very, very smart and possibly libertarian, and possibly
owns some crypto. I mean,
possibly owns some crypto. And so Thanksgiving at that family's dinner table should be just fascinating.
Little brother, why are you flooding my bags?
I would love to be invited to that. Very smart politically, been engaged at the top tiers of the financial industry at Goldman, at the CFTC for a very long time. Was he smart enough to position himself to be an MIT professor, an expert of blockchain by himself, or was that coordinated in some way to give him legitimacy to take the role? He's also done some research on AI, and I think he's written some things. So either way, we find ourselves in this position. And as you're aware, Elizabeth Warren has been placing people in positions of power in the current administration. John Deaton, who's is now going up against Elizabeth Warren, he referenced on, I think it was Fox Business a few days ago, that there's an entity called the Bank Policy Institute that I don't really know much about, but apparently they're a banking industry think tank. So all he did was reference that. And so I started paying a little attention to them on the internet. And there is a coordinated effort involving Elizabeth Warren and those banks that she used to attack quite strongly to make sure, again, the banks can continue to operate business as usual, and the U.S. government can continue to operate business as usual.
I'm not usually like on the tinfoil hat side at Bankless. David has that territory covered for us. But I got to say, just like observing sort of what's been happening with crypto, it's hard to not see this as part of a coordinated effort against crypto. It's almost as if Gary comes to chairman of the SEC, and he's sort of tapped by somebody, some group, basically says, hey, what can you do to just like slow this down? Right?
Sure.
I'll work with these other agencies and like we'll do other things to slow it down. But the SEC, like how can you gum up the works, right? You throw it in the court system, like what can you do here just to buy us more time to figure out how we fully stop crypto? I mean, if that conversation happened either explicitly or implicitly, we would see the actions essentially that Gary Gensler is taking now. And it would be a rational explanation because apart from something like that, it is hard to find a rational explanation for not only the actions he's taking, but the degree of confidence that he's like taking these actions with, as you and David were just saying, Joe.
Yeah. So slowing it down is one thing, and maybe it's not even a terrible thing. So slow it down for the benefit of big financial institutions so that they can get involved, or maybe slow it down because the discontinuity that we could face if Ethereum, the platform, and Ether, the token, just rocket from here as a result of the floodgate of the EtherSpot ETF being opened, that could be pretty jarring to a society. And so maybe these kind, wise souls who are running the government are just thinking about smoothing the transition to a rigorously decentralized future. I don't think that's true. I think more likely they're trying to maintain the structure of control in the U.S. and across the planet, and try to figure out how to co-opt the technology and dumb down the technology and make it a sort of either an American-style decentralization where you got to register and there's significant regulation and backdoors and things like that. And so it's basically a clash of civilizations at this point between those who want to maintain top-down command and control and those who believe in rigorous decentralization.
I think it's just hilarious that now all of a sudden these guys are talking about conspiracy. They've ignored everything we've said for 3 years. And now all of a sudden, we're not so crazy anymore, are we? So we're going to talk about, there's a rumor floating around about XRP Las Vegas. I'm going to go into that, and I'm going to talk about XRP Las Vegas. I'm going to talk about my dinner last night. In fact, any of you that remember my story about getting Brad Combs' Stanley Cup, these big cups that apparently only women drink out of, and Brad Combs had one. Well, last night at dinner, a couple of my guests, they made us some Stanley Cups with DAI on them, and then Brad Combs had his thing on them. And so my wife and my son are going to further make fun of me, because if you remember, my 11-year-old came in and he said, Dad, why are you drinking out of a girl cup? All the girls in my school drink out of Stanley Cups. And of course, I didn't know any of this, because I'm old enough to not be plugged into what's going on. And my wife then, she said when she first saw the Stanley Cup, she thought I was cheating on her because I had come from out of town with a Stanley Cup that only girls drink out of. That is, girls and Brad Combs. So now I have my own Stanley Cup, which is going to drive the family crazy, which means I'll drink out of it even more. So I appreciate that. We're going to go in the group, and we're going to talk XRP Las Vegas and the rumor that I saw going around. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that we are broadcasting from Vegas, and I will be probably doing some live streams out here too. Here we go.